Hello and welcome to The Playful Life. I'm your host, The Playful Trainer. So today, I would like to talk about my 3 R words. And believe it or not, this is not about reduce, reuse, recycle, although those 3 R words are very important as well. My 3 R words for you today are reconstruction, reprogramming, and reconditioning. So, when I talk about reconstruction, we're talking about constructing something in our physical world. So this is the physical part of the transformation process. The exercise, the nutrition, and our daily habits and routines. So I like to get a grasp on this first because it's important to know the very foundation of what we're doing, and these are the building blocks that are going to help on the transformation of a physical body and also a mental state. So the first step in your reconstruction is getting a cycle or a routine or schedule, if you will, every day of exercise. So it's about moving every day. It's about setting aside that time in your schedule every day to do those motions and those exercises. And they could be a combination of a lot of different things. It could be maybe taking your dog for a walk or doing some daily household chores like cleaning. But they have to get your heart rate up because you can't just say, well, I did the dishes today, so there's my exercise. I have clients who do that. I know your tricks. So I like to balance with my clients the strength training with the mobility and the balance exercises. So with the strength training, we do a lot of resistance training and weight bearing exercises. So in a later episode, I'll kind of get into the differences with those exercises. But basically, all it means is that you're building muscle and then you're stretching it out and learning how to use those muscles in balance with each other. The other part of reconstructing your physical world, if you will, is getting your nutrition in line. So it's important to find a nutrition plan that works for you. There are so many out there. And when I say nutrition plan, I'm not talking about diet. So I'm not talking about like restrictive diets that say, okay, only eat, 1,000 calories a day or 800 calories a day or something crazy like that, or, not eating carbs at all, not eating fat at all, right? I mean, everything in moderation. I say even moderation. So with my nutrition plan, I usually offer a good balance of all of the food groups, including carbohydrates, but carbohydrates can be good or bad. So we'll talk about that in another lesson. But really just getting to know your body and how your body responds to different foods. So you may do this with an elimination type of diet or by just sticking to several foods that do really well with your digestive system. So this, for instance, might be dairy. You might think, well, I think I might be lactose intolerant. So maybe in the first couple of weeks of getting this nutrition in order with this reconstruction, you would say, well, you know what, I'm going to cut dairy out because I think that causes some inflammation and causes some digestive upset. So if you cut out dairy for those couple of weeks and you feel great and you've got a lot of energy, maybe that's something that you want to consider getting rid of altogether, or maybe at least just modifying the amount of dairy that you're eating. So very important, your exercise and your nutrition. And then also one other part of that reconstruction phase is your daily habits and routines. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling your day in a way that allows for you to have time for yourself, your time for your exercise, your time for your sleep and your self-care, and also to make sure that you have time left in the day to meal plan, prepare foods, and eat them and enjoy them. So many Americans, we just eat on the run. Like I see so many people driving around in their cars eating dinner out of a bag I'm sure they purchased in the drive-thru somewhere. So it's important to understand that even if we're in a rush and even if we're in a hurry and eating on the go, there are still a lot of healthy things that we can choose and decide for ourselves and take with us. And that is coming later in episodes 2. We'll talk about some of the cool things you can do to meal plan. So the next R word is reprogramming. So I want you to think of like a software program that runs on your computer or the smartphone that you might be watching this on, right? So your software is sort of like the hub of where everything happens. So that for our bodies is our brain, right? Our brain is like the central computer of everything that's going on in our bodies. And it's so important to nurture our brains in a physical sense, right, with the proper nutrition, but also with what we feed our brains with information, with messages, with the mindset that we have for the day, and with our identity for what we tell ourselves about ourselves. So we want to reprogram the way we think about ourselves. And this might sound easy, but honestly, it's probably the most difficult out of these three phases because you're so used to telling yourself a certain story. You're so used to looking in the mirror, for instance, when you get up in the morning and having these judgments about yourself, and how you see yourself in the morning is oftentimes a reflection of how the rest of the day is going to go. If you don't get up in the morning and say, hey, good looking, you're going to crush the day, chances are you're going to have a little bit of a negative outlook on something. So it could be just as simple as that, or it might be something that you need to dig a little bit deeper at and find out what really is holding you back from reaching those goals. It might be, feeling guilty about neglecting your family if you're spending time on yourself and exercising. It might be some, issues that you had with your body image when you were young and maybe struggled with weight and struggled to, fit in socially. There could be so many things that we carry with ourselves and all of these stories that we end up telling ourselves that really influence the way we end up living each day, and ultimately they affect our physical world and what we manifest in the world. So very important to go through that reprogramming phase. The last R I want to talk about in this episode is what I call reconditioning. So this is more about the community that you surround yourself with. So I'm sure all of us can think back to a time where we may have heard that we're a combination or a summation, if you will, of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So for some of us, that may be a really positive thing, and for some of us, that might be kind of scary, right? If you're surrounded by negative people who, are very insecure, they will often try to bring us down because they want to feel better about themselves, right? That's kind of what bullies do, right? Bullies are usually bullied somewhere else, and so they need to bully other people in order to make themselves feel better. So that kind of bully mindset can really manifest itself with our friendships, and we don't really even know it, but we're like, when I was ordering that salad last week with my girlfriends, they were all, giving me crap about ordering a salad and not ordering, the fried chicken on the menu. And well, it was because they felt bad about eating their fried chicken and they wanted to make you feel bad about eating that salad. It's not that you were making any wrong decisions. So really having a tribe and having a group of people surround you, of like-minded individuals that are on the same track and understand where you're coming from and understand your struggles and your triumphs can really aid you in reaching your goals, no matter what that is. If it's weight loss or fitness or, training for an Ironman or even going after a certain kind of job or promotion, really focusing on finding those people who are going to lift you up, build you up, and support you and be your cheerleader through it all.